Well, welcome back. As you remember, last time we began Unit 2, and today we continue on. And I hope many of you, or in fact I hope all of you, have listened to the lecture that I recorded last time and have used it, have become acquainted with the subject matter, because that's what you need to do in this course. Every unit we have a major passage which is very central. And as you know, this time it's about the neighborhood watch. Now, in your book, you have some material about this, and let's look at this together. Neighborhood watch meeting, certainly from the passage you listen to, you realize neighborhood watch is an organization. It's a group of neighbors that get together. And we read here, last week there was a burglary in Nancy's neighborhood. Very important word for us. We'll discuss it in a few moments. The people on the street decided to form a neighborhood watch. This is their first meeting. A police officer is speaking. And that's what you listened to, what I recorded for you last time, and I hope you listened to. We have some backup here in the sense we have these pictures. This picture is the decal. Remember they talked about having a decal in your window, a sticker, something called a sticker, and to also let the potential criminals know that you are protected. So these are some signs for the neighborhood watch. Now they have pre-listening discussion. Of course you have listened already, but we have some important vocabulary to discuss here. It says look up the meaning of the following word pairs. Neighbor, you see this down at the bottom here? Neighbor and neighborhood. I hope you know neighbor, the person living near you. Neighborhood is the area. We heard about Nancy's neighborhood. The second pair was burglar and burglary. Some of you have probably looked up this word already because it was in the passage. A burglar is a criminal who goes into your house to take things out. So he intrudes. He breaks in. The person is a burglar. The crime is burglary. Okay? Unfortunately, in this passage, we have a lot of crime because we have a police officer talking about safety. The next one is also about criminal, the man, and the crime. Robber and robbery. Again, a matter of stealing things, but here the person does not necessarily break into something. Someone can rob you on the street. He can rob you in your backyard. He can rob you while you're riding on a train. Burglar is a particular type of robber because he intrudes into your home. Okay? So robber and robbery, as you see there in your text, robbery is the noun. Robber and robbery. And then we have the use of crime and as a countable or uncountable. Crime, uncountable, is general. We might say that in the last 10 years, there has been a rise in crime. But if we speak of individual ones, then it would be crimes such as burglary, robbery, murder. Those are then crimes. Many times in English we have the same word. It can be used collectively, uncountable, or individually. Okay, and so that is an example of that. Okay. Then we have thief and theft. Again, thief the person, theft the crime. Theft, again, general. Robbing and being a thief or being a robber is basically the same thing. So robbing and stealing, the crime, theft or robbery. We have some general discussion questions. Is there much crime in the area where you live? I hope not. Unfortunately, in the world, crime is generally increasing, but I hope that you're one of the lucky people to live in a safe area. I think we live in a rather safe country, so I think really this is not such a problem for us. Number 3, does your area have something like a neighborhood watch? Well, we live in a country where people generally interact a lot, so probably you don't need the neighborhood watch as much as in some countries. But I haven't heard of it here. And finally, what are some things you can do to protect yourself and your home against crime? Well, most people have locks on their doors, and you heard some of the things in the passage that we'll be talking about today. These are some of the words you had in the passage. Alarm. We heard about the alarm that you have on your car. If someone tries to steal it, alarm, something which tells us there is danger. Break-in, we just talked about that. A burglary is a type of break-in. Deadbolt. Now there in the picture they show you this type of lock, the deadbolt lock, which is especially useful because the bar goes right into the wood, and it's considered to be a very safe lock. Decal, we looked at one on the previous page, a sticker, a decal. Front, back, you heard that we should have lights in front of the house, in back of the house. License, of course, if you have a car, you need to have a license for that car. Right, of course, it's the right of anyone to protect his house, and it's your right to have a neighborhood watch. Car theft, we just talked about theft and robbery. Timer, did you hear in the passage that a very good thing to have are timers on your lights? So if you're gone, the lights go on automatically. And we heard in the passage that valuables belong not in the front of the car, but in the back, in the trunk, so that people don't see them. The verbs break into, we talked about that, burglary, and of course the police officer is there to help these people prevent crime. Now the adjective violent means having to do with force, usually causing injury. Now these things we talked about here, burglary and theft and robbery, usually are not violent. Nobody gets hurt, usually, but it's still a dangerous crime. And finally we have the expression to get into the habit, to do something regularly. So if we leave our homes, it's good to get into the habit of making them safe while we are gone. Now, you listened to the passage, and I hope you took my advice and you took notes on them. Now, if you did, you will have noticed that we had some statistics. A big word, but something you all know about. Statistics are numbers that give facts about a situation. Often statistics are expressed as a percentage or a fraction. For example, 30% of the students in our class are men, or people spend about 1/4 of their salaries. Now here, the exercise, looking at ways to represent these with symbols. They put the percent sign there for you, but I've supplied here some other useful devices, using numbers, number sign, using the fraction as numbers rather than writing the words, using mathematical indicators, the less than, the more than sign, equal to, increase, to go up or rise. So if the instructor says crimes have risen in the last 10 years, you don't have to try have risen, you just put up crimes, and put an arrow. Arrows are very handy in taking notes. So these are different strategies in taking down notes. Now, at the bottom of the page, this was an exercise in taking notes on statistics. This I did not give to you last time, so let's just practice it very quickly now when we're here together. And we note here, if you heard this statement, a year ago there were 48 burglaries in your area. This year it's gone up to 60 so far. The important statistic would be to see 48, we put an arrow, up to 60. And so you don't have to went up or rose, you can just indicate with an arrow. This is a very easy way to get down statistics. Number 2, the number of car thefts has almost doubled. Well, if you had to write the word D-O-U-B-L, no, doubled, 2 times. Always try to keep your notes as concise, as small as possible. Use symbols when you can. Number 3, did you know that in half of all burglaries, 50%, the burglars enter through unlocked doors or windows? 50%, or here I wrote 60%, but whatever, notice you use the percent sign. Now, strategies. One thing that you're learning to do is to listen to longer passages. And in the longer passages, it's important to take notes. Now, strategy, transitions, connecting words. When you're listening, the speaker will use transitions such as, and then, and secondly, another. This means he's going on to some new idea. So we're going to look now at how in the passage that you listened to for today, how some transitions are very useful. Let's look at the example here. Now, I have filled in these notes for you, and you could have done this as well. Maybe you did it. I hope you did. You had the material for it. Notice the transition. First of all, this is our first topic. Lights outside the house, and notice lights inside the house. Notice those ditto marks. Very handy. Easier than writing something twice. Put ditto marks below, and then finish the new information. Then he says, all right then, the next topic. That's a transition. And notice that means a new subject. So don't continue writing across your page. This is a new item. And the new topic I want to discuss is locks. First of all, that's the first point, forget cheap locks, use a deadbolt. Also, that's a new point, special locks for windows. Notice how those transitions help you to organize your information. Then he goes to the second part of his talk. He says, okay, now let's move on and talk about. Very often, lecturers will say, all right, now we've finished that subject. Now we've done this, let's move on. When you're taking notes, you should leave a space, because that means now we have a new subject. And notice in your example here, this has been done. Okay, let's now move on and talk about car theft. How to prevent car theft. First, car and garage. What you heard was, first of all, it's a good idea to use your garage for the car and not. Notice all of that information really just says car and garage. If you want to put keep car and garage, fine. These notes are for you to get the information. So try to keep them concise and clear. The most important thing is keep valuables in trunk of car. Now, my last point, another transition, is how neighbors help each other. The main thing is watch house on vacation. Now, I didn't say neighbors watch. I think it's understood. Again, up to you, but you don't put down things you don't need. For me, it's very clear, watch house on vacation. If I'm on vacation, I can't be watching it, so I must be asking other people to watch it. Also, call police if unusual things. I didn't write unusual things happen, because if unusual things happen is just understood. And one more thing, this is the final thing, put neighborhood watch decal in front window. Now, if I was taking notes, I would have just put decal, because the subject is neighborhood watch, and I think it's obvious that that is the decal we're talking about. I hope you're getting an idea of the importance of listening to get the information and also taking down notes. Our passages are getting longer. You can't just remember this information. So please remember, note-taking is a very important skill, especially in this course. Okay, let's move on then to our next area. The first question here, how many ideas did the speaker discuss? Well, remember he said, first of all, locks, and also about the lights. Then he went on to car, making that. Then about this. So really three things. We had the transitions. First of all, then finally. Three basic areas. The house, the garage, and the neighborhood. So those are important things to note, because if you do that, when you take the notes, when you look back at them, it's easy to find the information. Where are some of the transitions? We went through that just a few moments ago. When you take notes, should you write transitions in your notes? Probably not. But if a lecturer says there are 3 things, not bad to put a 1 and a 2 and a 3, or an A and a B and a C. But really, your transitions are going to be marked by spaces. Remember, you saw how you keep spaces for the different areas of your notes. Now, it says here, taking notes, following are sample notes on the police officer's suggestions. Note that they do not contain transitions. Instead, the relationship among main ideas is shown by underlining, indenting, and listening. So here we see that point that you don't need to say, then this, and first of all, and after that. That is obvious if you have taken good notes. Notice here, very little crime in neighborhood, but burglaries up. Last year 48, this year 60. We don't have to say after that 60. First there was. It's very clear. Last year, this year. Car theft. So notice these transitions are not necessary. Let's look at the continuation of that. The same thing here. The locks. You can have a look at these at more detail later, but you see how it is not necessary to say and then and after that and so on, because it will be clear from the progression of your notes. Okay? All right. That was our lecture this time. Now, I think you're beginning to see how important in this course it is that you be doing work at home, that you're listening to the lecture carefully and trying to take notes, so that when we review it, you can see how successful you were. All right, this is post-listening, discussing the lecture afterwards. Has anyone ever broken into your home or your car? Well, I don't know that. I hope not. I've had some experience myself with these types of things. In the course of a lifetime, usually there'll be something like that. What advice did the police officer give about lights? Remember, he said you need to have lights inside, and you need to have lights inside the home. Do you follow these? Well, I don't know. If you live in a crime-prone area, important to do that. How does an automatic timer work? Well, I think it's clear from our discussion. The timer automatically turns the lights on even if you're not there. So it looks like you're home even if you're not. What types of locks did the officer recommend? You remember the deadbolt, deadbolt lock. You have a picture of it in your book. So please remember, deadbolt is a type of lock. In part 2, according to the officer, how can you prevent car theft? Do you remember that? First of all, he said, put your car in the garage. That's the first thing. All right? But beyond that, don't leave valuables in the open. Because even if someone gets in your garage, maybe he wouldn't get into your trunk. But if he sees things lying in your car, he's very likely to try and get them. What is the officer's opinion about car alarms? The officer didn't think they were very useful, you may remember. What do you think? Depends where you are. It depends how many people are around. But nowadays, many people just ignore them. They're going off so often. What is a decal? Well, you saw the picture. I'm sure some of you know if you, for example, work for a university, usually your car, you have a decal to show you're a member of the university. Some people put decals to show the football club they belong to. Something you stick, usually on the car, sometimes on the glass from the inside, sometimes on the outside. A sticker, a decal. So a good word to know. How do people in the neighborhood watch help each other? Do you remember that? They watch the homes. They call the police if something's suspicious. That's how they help each other. Neighborhood watch. All right. I think now we've discussed a lot of crime. You're maybe getting tired of hearing about crime. And so I think maybe it's good now we move on to our context for this unit. Part 3, strategies for better listening and speaking. Contexts are very important. They will be on your final exam. You have to be able to listen and make decisions according to what you hear in a context. Here we have 3 contexts. Listen and see if you agree. Beginning of conversation. Manager. Yes, who is it? It's Donna from 206. I've got a check for you. Oh, it's you. Do you know it's the 5th of the month? Yes, Mr. Bradley, I'm sorry. I know it was due on the 1st, but my grandma got sick, and I had to go out of town suddenly. Now, who is the person receiving the money? A neighbor, the apartment manager, Donna's father, a repairman. Now, we had some clues that allow us to choose B, the apartment manager. First of all, she wants to pay him money. She says there was a due date, a date by which she had to pay this, and she's apologizing that she was out of town. So the best choice is the apartment manager. How did you know that? From the context. Let's go to the continuation of this context. We know he's a manager, apartment manager, or apartment supervisor, sometimes we say. The manager says, look, my job as manager here is to collect the rent on the 1st of the month. If you're late again next month, you'll have to look for another place to live. Okay, Mr. Bradley, but look, while I'm here, I need to talk to you about a couple of things. Yeah? First, about the cockroaches. They're all over the kitchen again. I'm sick of them. Have you used the spray I gave you? It's no good. I need something stronger to kill those terrible bugs once and for all. Well, a problem in the apartment. Who will the manager probably need to call? We have 4 possibilities: a repair person, a painter, an exterminator, or a plumber. Now, I don't think if you have insects running about your kitchen, you don't need a repair person, you don't need a painter. Remember, a plumber fixes your bathroom pipes, so I don't think we need him, but we do need an exterminator. And at the bottom of the page, they tell you an exterminator is a person who comes to get rid of, insects or mice or bad things, bad living things that you have in your house or your apartment. So that is the correct choice. And we should know it from the context. We heard about the cockroaches running about the kitchen, so I think exterminator is the choice. If these are new words for you, please add them to your vocabulary, okay? All right, let's go to the next one, number 3. Manager. Okay, I'll call the exterminator next week. Tenant. Next week? Last week you said you'd fix the hole in my ceiling. You still haven't done that. I'm fed up with waiting for you to fix things around here. What can you guess about Donna's apartment? It's on the 3rd floor, it's in bad condition, it's in a good neighborhood, or it's cheap. Now, the best choice is it's in a bad condition, because you heard there's a hole in the ceiling. Now, if there's a hole in the ceiling, that's not very good condition. Doesn't sound like a place where you would like to live, I think. All right, those were our contexts. I hope you see the procedure with context. You listen, you understand, use the clues in your passage, and now we're going to move on to the next page, to page 45. Let's continue. This is different here. We have a different situation, and this is a different point that's being made here. This is not so much about the information as about the intonation. You remember intonation? We discussed that last time. There's a difference if somebody says, I'm coming tomorrow, or something, I'm coming tomorrow, I'm coming tomorrow. These are different intonations, and they give other meanings. So please listen to the intonation now in this conversation. So using intonation to decide which of these is the best choice. He thinks it's funny, he's surprised, he's angry, or he's happy. Now, these are mainly going to be indicated by intonation. So listen. Hi, Donna. What do you need this time? Hello, John. A couple of eggs. Do you mind? No, come on in. Now, what do we understand from that? What do we understand his feeling is? How does he feel? He's happy. Hello, come on in. Notice the intonation tells us it's welcoming. Now let's listen to the same conversation, but with a different intonation. Hi, Donna, what do you need this time? Hello, John, a couple of eggs, do you mind? No, come on in. No, come on in. Huh? Aha. So from this we know he's annoyed with Donna. Huh? He's not worried, certainly not happy, he's not surprised. So you again? Huh? Come on in. Huh? Come on in. Come on in. Huh? Different intonation, different meaning. Language is not only words, not only sounds, it's also intonation. Huh? So please keep that in mind. Now we have an interesting point about context on this page here about relationships between people. The way people address each other in North America can give clues about their relationships, or for example. Now, this is true here, everywhere in the world, but we're looking at English examples. Now, in a very formal situation, it's polite to use the titles sir and ma'am when you're talking to an older person or someone important. With adults, you do not know well, it's correct to use a title with the person's last name, for example, Ms. Adams or Dr. Snow. So if you hear someone say, excuse me, sir, that either means that this person is very important to him, or he's a worker someplace and he's showing respect. Huh? And also you show respect by putting the title before someone's name, Mr. Johnson, Dr. Johnson. So this is formal. On the other hand, two people who are equal in age or position, who are meeting in a casual situation, usually use each other's first name. Hello, Jack. Hi, John. Hi, Dave. So if you hear people talking like that, you know that's not formal. You know that they are friends. Huh? That's a friendly indication. People in close personal relationships often use pet names to address each other. Married people, children to parents. You maybe have this here. We have many times they call a little boy, they'll call him Junior or Chuck or Bud, and that shows even more intimacy. Huh? Okay, so these are all, again, giving you the idea, language is not just that system of words, how it's used. Huh? So these are indicators you should know about. On the next page, we come to expressing frustration. In our context, we heard some frustration. Remember Donna, when she was talking about her apartment, she said, I'm fed up with. Huh? So here are some words to express frustration. Frustration is meaning you're disappointed, things don't happen. You want something, but you don't get it. Now, life is full of frustration, but sometimes it's worse than others. Frustration is what people feel when they cannot get what they want, even after many tries. For example, imagine that your neighbor's dog wakes you up every night. You complain to your neighbor many times, but the situation does not improve. In this situation, you would feel frustrated. Here are some forms you can use to indicate you're frustrated. I'm fed up with. I've had it with. I'm sick of it. Huh? So please, if these come in our conversations, please understand these show frustration. I'm sure you're not fed up with this class. I hope. I don't think so. I do hope very much that you're just the opposite of frustrated. And the opposite of frustrated will be very satisfied. I hope so. Hope you're progressing. Huh? Please remember, listen to the passages. Huh? All right. Now we have follow-up discussion. Here is some vocabulary that I do expect you to know about. Many of you will know this already. These are different types of people, different professions. In our passage, we had some of them. Remember, we talked about the exterminator coming. But here we have some others. The architect, who designs the building. The cable installer. If you have cables being installed for maybe your computer or for your phone or something. Carpenter. Carpenter is the man who works in wood. If you need a table fixed or something, you go to the carpenter. Carpet cleaner can be a person or the machine. Electrician. Gardener. Painter. The phone technician, somebody to fix your phone. A plumber, we talked about that, dealing with pipes, bathroom or kitchen pipes. And the roofer, Well, the man who puts the roof. Now, again, maybe this is not really very much here in Saudi Arabia, because but in Europe we have a roof on top, and so you have special covering. So the roofer is a special profession. Here, the roof is part of the house, whereas in the Western situation we have a roof above the house. A different situation. Wow! Am I going too fast? I don't think so. I'm sure you're following. You can always go back and listen again. That's the nice thing. All right, our task this time is to read a map. We saw a map last time. Now, this is a little more complicated map. Now, usually in a map, we have a grid. We have a grid because here we have streets going this way and that way. Notice, many times they're marked. We have 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th Avenue, one up the other. Going across, we have streets. Main Street, Pine Street, Oak Street. Now, what we're going to be looking at in this exercise is how we get from one place to the other using directions. Okay? Now, for example, we have here over here the letter X. The letter X marks our point of departure. And I'm going to read some directions, and you find out whether you agree with me where these are. Okay? So listen to the directions and see where you end up, and then we'll do it together. All right? So let me give you the first directions okay. You begin at X. Go 2 blocks west on 2nd Avenue. Turn left. Go down 1 block. What's on your left? I'll say it one more time so you can try doing it. You begin at X, go 2 blocks west on 2nd Avenue, turn left, go down 1 block, what's on your left? Well, how many of you found the department store? I hope you did, because you see, we went here west. You know, in a map, west is always on your left. So we're going west 2 blocks, then we turned left for 1 block, and so what's on your left? Department store. And that was really rather, they made it easy for you because there's nothing on the other side. So, so they made it easy. Once you got there, you didn't have to think whether it's left or right anymore. You just had to point to the department store. Well, I hope you all got that. Let's do another one. Let's begin this time at the intersection of Main and 3rd. Let me get you orientated there, because you have to understand when we say intersection. This is the intersection. We did this in the last unit. Remember, intersection where the 2 streets come together. So that's where we're beginning. Go 1 block south on Main. Then turn left. Go straight for half a block. What's on your left? Okay. I'll say that one more time. We begin at the intersection of Main Street and 3rd Avenue. Go 1 block south on Main. Turn left. Go straight for half a block. What's on your left? Well, here we are. Okay, what did you say? Oh, yes, public library. Good. I hope you did. I hope you said that. All right, here's where we begin. Notice we go south 1 block. We turn left for half a block. And there's the public library on your left. Simple, isn't it? We'll do 2 more just for fun. Okay? Number 3. You have just eaten dinner at the French restaurant, which is at the corner of 4th and Pine. Okay? So find that French restaurant. Corner of 4th and Pine. Go south on Pine Street to 2nd Avenue. Turn right. Go 1 block west on 2nd. Turn left. Go down Main Street for half a block. What's on your right? Oh, that was complicated. Let me do that again. You're finishing dinner at the French restaurant, corner of 4th and Pine. Now, go south on Pine Street to 2nd Avenue. Turn right. Go 1 block west on 2nd. Turn left. Go down Main Street for half a block. What's on your right? Well, I'll tell you, I did this beforehand, and I put down supermarket. And I hope that's right. Let's check and make sure that that's right. We begin here. Here we have the French restaurant, okay? And it says go south on Pine Street to 2nd Avenue. There we are, 2nd Avenue. Turn right. That means we're going this way. Turn right. Go 1 block west on 2nd. Okay? Okay, now we turn left. Okay, turn left. Go down Main Street for half a block. What's on your right? Supermarket. Okay, got that? I wish I could see how many got it. I hope all of you did. We'll do one more, just for good measure. This time we're beginning at the office building, and that's at the intersection of 3rd and Main. You remember intersection? Office building. Did you find it? Okay, there's our office building, huh? Okay, that's where we're starting out. After work, you decide to go shopping. So you're leaving work in the office building. Go 1 block east on 3rd. Turn left and go 1 block up Pine Street. Turn right. Go 1 block east until you reach Oak Street. What's on your right? Wow, a lot of turning. Let's do that one more time, beginning at the office building. After work, you decide to go shopping. Go 1 block east on 3rd. Turn left and go 1 block up Pine Street. Turn right. Go 1 block east until you reach Oak Street. What's on your right? Well, I'll betray the secret. I did this beforehand, and I found the bookstore. Did you find the bookstore? Let's make sure I was right. Okay, here we are at the office building, and our instructions are to go 1 block east on 3rd. So that's 1 block east. Then you turn left and you're going to turn left, go 1 block up on Pine. That is Pine, yep, on Pine. Turn right, go 1 block east. And what's on your right? Well, yep, that is the bookstore. I was right. I'm sure you were too. Well, now I've got you to the bookstore. Not only have I got you to the bookstore, but I have got you to the end of this unit. Now, I hope you enjoyed it. And I want you to, again, remember, listening requires repetition. So please go back to your passage, get well acquainted with it, and please go back and review what we do, huh? Okay? Thank you very much. That is the end of Unit 2. But we'll have another unit very soon. Thank you. Goodbye.